Hello and welcome to another episode of SKPcars Projects. In this episode we're going to do another tool test. We still have the box of goodies sitting here with a couple of parts that we're going to check out and try. We're going to skip over them for the moment though, because in the process of doing all these videos, a vendor has approached us and said that they'd like us to test out their tool in a non-biased manner, which I feel that what we've been making so far is unbiased content. So this company is called Suzume. I believe they are Chinese, but these are torque wrenches. It's a torque wrench set. It comes with a half, a 3/8, and a 1/4 inch with some extensions. We have no real affiliation with this company other than the fact that they sent us these to try. So I'm going to put the paid promotional tag on it just to cover myself because of the fact that we were given these, but we're not going to have any links to anything of theirs because we're not associated with them, unless I can find a link online just so that you guys can see it if you guys want to buy these. I'm going to test these against my old school Craftsman 1/2 inch. So the tests are all going to be against the 1/2 inch, not necessarily against the smaller drives, but we'll check those out as well. And a snap-on torque wrench that I also happen to have. We'll set up some bolts and we'll try that out against the Suzume. With these tool tests that we do, I like the stuff to be raw, which is why this is still cellophane wrap, so I have no idea what it's going to look like inside. We're going to open this up for you guys so that you guys can see exactly what's inside of it and exactly how it comes. So this is just the plastic wrap. It comes with a cardboard sleeve over the top of the tools. Take off. That stuff's all trash. But inside of the case, double plastic latch, and then the case lifts up and it looks like I have them upside down, so that is the correct way, and it comes like that with the instructions. There's not really much to it. It's literally like 1 page of instructions. Like I said, you get a 1/4 inch drive, a 3/8 drive, and a 1/2 inch drive, and then it looks like you get an extension for each one of those. These will actually reduce your torque when you're using the torque settings on it, and you have to be able to understand how much to subtract on these. So we're not actually going to use these extensions. We will check them out real quick though and show them that they're good functioning tool. But this is the tool set. The first tool in the case is a 1/4 inch drive. It looks like it operates in inch pounds and Newton meters is how it reads. So it looks like to operate it, you pull down on this and rotate the amount of inch pounds that you want, and it looks like it goes up to 220 inch pounds. In Newton meters, it looks like it goes to 24.9 Newton meters. These would operate in inch pounds because of the fact that they are such a small diameter. If you tried to put a lot of foot pounds on that, you'd end up snapping that off. It does have a button release and a directional latch, and then one thing I noticed too is that the bottom of this unscrews. I don't think this is meant to be part of the tool for just regular use, but I believe that bolt in there is used for calibrating. But we'll find out how accurate these are. All right, so the next tool in the box is a 3/8 drive. It says 5 to 45 foot-pounds on it. It looks like it's gauged to 45 foot-pounds, and it goes to 61 Newton meters. It operates the same way, has that same pull-down latch to allow movement on the handle. The handle itself feels a little sloppy. These have a tendency in most tools to feel a little sloppy, but this tool bit here, this ring, it grinds against everything, and then this is like a hard plastic. At least it feels like a hard plastic. Maybe it's coated metal, and then all these are loose, these little caps on the bottom. Like I said, we're here to test this honestly. This feels and looks a little cheap on the end, but the wrench itself actually looks like it's pretty good and pretty strong. It looks like it's got a fine tooth mesh inside of it as well. The other one did too. The clicks on it are really close together, which means that the ball bearings inside are very, very small, which means you crank on it too much, especially more than 45 pounds in this case, you'll probably end up damaging the ball bearings inside. Now time for the big one. which is the most commonly used one that I'm used to using. And this one is 10 pounds to 170 foot-pounds. It operates the same way. You pull down this latch, rotate. Again, the little cap on the back is loose. I don't know why. We're not going to be using anything in there. And then it has a push button release for the socket and then a direction, just like the other two did. So this is the one that we're going to be running against the 1/2-inch Craftsman and the Snap-on, which are the guys sitting off to the right over here. All right, last we're going to check out the little extensions. It's got like a cool knurled bit right here. Would make it easier to pull these in and out of the sockets. I kind of dig that. It's got a coating on it, maybe Cerakote, kind of feels that way. It's almost textured. These don't look bad. I like that they're angled on the ends. A lot of times you have a hard time getting the sockets off because of the fact they're so straight edged. So these actually don't look bad for what they are. I don't know if I would consider putting a lot of stress on them though. I don't know if they're hardened. It does say chrome palladium. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're strong. It just means that's what they're made out of. So as you can see, I have a stack of washers on a bolt because I don't want it to go all the way down. Plus I want my socket to be able to completely cover the thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down basically to touch. Just get the washers tight. Get it to where everything is sitting in here nice and nothing is really torqued up. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to torque this down. I'm not going to torque it down to a crazy number. I'm going to go to like 40 pounds just to get all the washers tight, get a number that's fairly reliable, about mid-range on the torque wrench. So this one, that is saying that's 40 pounds. Now let's double check it against the Snap-on wrench. So to check for accuracy, I'm going to put the Snap-on wrench at 39 pounds. It should click. And it did, so that shows that we're above 40 pounds. And if I put it at 40 pounds, it should let go, which will show that the Snap-on torque wrench and the Craftsman torque wrench are at the same torque. So at 40 we came off. So this shows you that the Snap-on wrench and the Craftsman wrench are accurate within each other within a very small amount. So now we're going to do the same thing with the Suzume. I have it set to 40 foot-pounds. Okay, that is saying that is 40 foot-pounds. Now we're going to test it against one of the other wrenches that we know are within calibration of each other at 39 pounds. So just so you can see, it is currently at 39 pounds. And I'm locking the wrench at 39. And I'm going to reverse so that it pushes against it, and this should also click. That did not. So that is a bad sign. Okay, so we're going to torque it back down to 40 pounds. This is where it's saying is 40 pounds. Now we're going to test it against the Snap-on, which is the one that we use to test accuracy on the Craftsman one. It is also sitting at, that's 40, and one less than 40 is 39. And we're going to go reverse. So that would be this way, and it should click. Okay, so these Suzume wrenches are not accurate. That's a dangerous thing to sell. Thankfully they gave this to us because if I'm expecting to use a torque wrench that is set to be able to go from 10 pounds to 170 pounds and it's not accurate at 40 pounds, that's dangerous. We'll try it again at another higher torque level. We'll only test it against one of the other torque wrenches. Okay, so I'm going to torque this back up, but I'm going to torque it up to 60 foot-pounds. Should be coming up on it. Right there. Okay, so that was a good hard click. So at this point I have this set at 59 foot-pounds. I'm going to try and take this off. It should click because I'm 1 pound lower than what the pound setting is on the other part. It's breaking loose. So again, we've now gone through two different ranges on the Suzume torque wrenches, and the half inch is not accurate. Half inch is the most commonly one that I use. The quarter inch drive wrenches you use a few times in situations. 3/8, I don't generally use 3/8 torque wrenches. If you were going to try and use these torque wrenches, they would need to be calibrated. That, or if the calibration doesn't work, then these are not good functional torque wrenches. All right, so that was highly disappointing. I was given these tools for free by Suzume. They actually emailed me and said, we'd like you to try out our tools. I said, I test things in a non-biased way, and these tools could, not end up doing very well, and it looks like they didn't. This set retails for about $90. If this one is not accurate, then this one's not going to be accurate, and this one's not going to be accurate. So there's no way to trust that these are actually torque wrenches that do what they say they're supposed to do. The torque wrenches themselves, they feel what I would consider on the cheap side, because if you look at the aluminum on this, if it'll get close enough, it's really like pop marked and like paint coated, not anodized, and that is for sure aluminum. This is like hard plastic, and this is also aluminum, and all of this feels very cheap. This looks and seems like it's very well built, but when it comes down to it, if it's not accurate, it's not really well built. It's built poorly. So unfortunately, if I were going to be taking an entire set and doing something with it, this set would end up going in my trash box. But I'm not going to try and put an entire set of torque wrenches into my trash box. All right, so I'm not going to go on testing any of the rest of this stuff. There's not really need to. That's going to do it for this test on this Suzume, if that's how you pronounce it, torque wrench set. I just got done setting all these back down to 0, because if you're going to properly use a torque wrench, you have to re-zero them out to make sure that the spring is not wound inside of them, because that will cause them to become inaccurate. And the wrench, if you're curious which wrench I used a modern Craftsman wrench, because my old Craftsman wrenches had all broken the ball bearings inside. So this is what I used to set everything down. That's going to do it for this episode of Sandy Killer Projects. We did another tool test. Unfortunately, another tool failed. I didn't do anything too crazy to it. I literally just pitted it against another torque wrench of its size, and not necessarily its caliber, because these are much better torque wrenches. So as always, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We've still got a few more tools to test in the Amazon box that had tools in it. Those I will get to when I can. I'm excited to do one of them, and I'm not excited to do the next one, which is part of the reason why we haven't done one of these tool videos in a while. But maybe I'll speak to Suzume and let them know that their tool failed. They have a few other things that they offer. Maybe they'll end up sending me something else. We'll see. They may not like the fact that this video didn't go very well. So until the next video, thanks for watching.